Yugant, today I'm going to record the history of Indian Worker Association and its fraternal relationship with Desh Bhagat Yadgar, Hall, Jalanda. This fraternal relationship goes back to 1938. I recorded already that it was at the initiative of the Ghadr Party that Indian Worker Association was founded in 1938. There was one memorial of the Ghadr Party in San Francisco, and that memorial is located in the center of San Francisco near the Golden Bridge. India, on achieving independence in 1947, Ghadr Memorial Trust in San Francisco handed it over to the government of India, and they took the charge of the Ghadr Memorial. Ghadr Party movement in 19 up to 1915, most of the Ghadrites, they were arrested and many of them were executed by the British Raj. They continued their struggle during the 20s, 30s, up to the independence, and in the form of Kirti Party after 1947. The remaining Ghadrite, they formed a Ghadr Sahayak Committee. From the Ghadr Sahayak Committee, they planned to build Ghadr Party Memorial in Punjab. After that decision, Ghadr Party Sahayak Committee, they consider where to build it. The most accessible place they decided to be Jalandhar. There was a property for sale which belonged to an advocate, and it was a plot and the kothi of 2.5 acres. It was bought during 1955 to 1958, and the question of money to buy the price of that land and the kothi, which was in a dilapidated position, 38,000 rupees. Mid-50s, 38,000 rupees. Lot of money in terms of buying land somewhere else. You could buy agricultural land up to 80 acres for 30,000 rupees. One Ghadrite who was alive, Baba Amar Singh Sandhwa from village Sandhwa, he took the decision to sell all his property at his village for 45,000 rupees. He donated the whole lot to the Ghadr committee, and that building was purchased in Jalandhar, where the existing Desh Bhagat Yadgar hall and other buildings are constructed. Then the question was to build the memorial. In 1958, 4 Ghadrites, Baba Karm Singh Chima, Baba Gurmukh Singh, who were part of the committee, Baba Buja Singh, Baba Pola Singh. They came to the UK. Before coming, they contacted the Indian Work Association in 1958, particularly the Coventry Indian Work Association. They arrived here in coordination with the Indian Work Association in Coventry, in Birmingham, Wolverhampton, Southall, London, Bradford, and other places, along with the Indian Work Association committee members. They went door to door to collect money for building the Desh Bhagat Yadgar Hall, which is the first one. Several £1,000s were collected, and all that money, in those days the exchange rate was 13 to 15 rupees to a pound. But it was an amount, according to, I received a message, more than 50,000 rupees, which they collected here. In those days, workers' wages were the wages of that time between £8.15 and maximum to £20 a week. They addressed a meeting at Smadak. At that time, Gurdwara was not built. The congregation was held on Brass House Lane School Hall with the support of Mr. Cumming, who was head teacher of Thomas Telford Hall. School, yeah. And they addressed the congregation, and substantial amount was collected from the congregation, and congregation members also agreed with them that on the weekend they visit Smadak, Birmingham, they will go with them to collect the money. Indian Work Association, which was formed in 1958, they collected money.
Indian Work Association was formed in 1938.
No, in Birmingham branch.
In Birmingham branch. Okay.
Birmingham branch, yeah. 1958. As I said earlier, Coventry, London, Southall, Birmingham, Wolverhampton, and other association, they helped to collect the money. And Ghadri Babas, all the money which they collected, they published a pamphlet of all the contribution given by members of the Indian Work Association or sympathizers. The hall, the ground floor was built, in which there is a museum now, the offices, and the second floor, the plan was to build the second floor hall as auditorium. And that was, after the completion of the ground floor, that was standing as the plan was, with the pillars going up the roof. Then Baba Bhag Singh Bilga, he was the secretary of Desh Bhagat Yadgar committee. He visited Britain with the contact of Indian Work Association. Again, Indian Work Association collected large amount of money from all the cities, and more than 11,000 pounds was collected. A large meeting was held at Digpa Center, and Baba Bhag Singh Bilga was invited guest from the Desh Bhagat Yadgar committee. He addressed the congregation. More money was collected at the congregation. All the attendees, they contributed again at the hall. All the collected money, which was over 9,000, which was handed cash to Bhag Singh Bilga, and he received the money and thanked. He took the money back, recorded all the documents and names of the collection givers who paid the money, and they published a booklet recording their names, and that is in files in Desh Bhagat Yadgar and also in Shahid Udham Singh Welfare Trust. But Desh Bhagat Yadgar did, they installed a stone in front of the first hall, engraving all the names on that stone in front of the entrance of Desh Bhagat Yadgar Hall. So that project was complete. Later in the 90s, another hall to be built. Again, Baba Bhag Singh Bilga visited. Again, money was raised to give the name large donation givers. Chanchal Singh gave 10,000 pounds to build that hall, where now it is exhibition center as well as events, seminars, debates, that was erected with the help from the Indian Work Association here. That was completed. The next project came up to build a small hall for the purpose of holding seminars, about 200 seats, on the top of the Baba Gurmukh Singh Hall. That project started in the 20s. Again, IWA collected money, 7,000 pounds from here.
When you say 20s, do you mean 2000s?
2020s, in the beginning of 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah. and collected money. Amount of 7,000 was sent with IWA for the erection of that hall. Joginder Singh Pua, who was Vice Chancellor at that time, ex-IWA activist, he collected 4 lakh. So 11 lakh was given to Desh Bhagat Yadgar Hall. They constructed that hall, but it was not completed. Again, in 2015, Indian Work Association and Shahid Udham Singh Welfare Trust collected £23,000 for the completion of Vishnu Ganesh Pingle Hall on the first floor of the Baba Gurmukh Singh Hall. That is functioning now. It is air conditioned. It is excellent facility in Desh Bhagat Yadgar, and it provide funds to the Desh Bhagat Yadgar committee for the organization, hiring that hall, ground floor hall, where the exhibition stalls held throughout the year, which are not being held now because of the coronavirus. But I read today that the next exhibition is taking place on 20th October. So they received sufficient funds from the Indian Work Association. And President Son Singh Josh, in his foreword to a booklet, he wrote, without the help of the Indian Work Association, Desh Bhagat Yadgar Hall would have not been built, thanks to the members of the Indian Work Association, Great Britain. So that is the Indian Work Association contribution to Desh Bhagat Yadgar Hall.
And what does that mean, Desh Bhagat Yard?
Desh Bhagat Yadgar Hall is I can't come to that. Yeah.
Okay. And what does the term Ghadr mean?
Ghadr is not Ghadr. Ghadr is after the Ghadr Party, which was founded in the United States in 1913.
But what does the word mean?
Ghadr? A revolt. Yeah, rebellion. Yeah.
The ground floor is now a library, and the museum has been moved to the second floor?
I don't know the list.
Yes.
Yeah.
When we visited last March,
Yeah.
that's what the arrangement was.
Yeah. In 2015, Kulveer took the initiative to support Desh Bhagat Yadgar Hall to build Baba Bhag Singh Memorial Library, and he contributed 3 lakh rupees, which is 3,000. I was asked to lay the foundation brick in 2015, and that library is complete and functioning, and it is also a bookshop for the history books of the independence movement fighters and other books and Marxist and Leninist literature that is available.
And what part do they play in the political life of Jalandhar?
The political support the Desh Bhagat Yadgar committee provide. The committee is constituted of 38 members, and when one member dies, he replaced by another.
Is there significance to the number 38?
38 is the definitive number, and that is in the constitution that they will not increase the number. And they manage the whole project. And they got a executive committee of 15 members. It has a president, vice president, secretary, assistant secretary, treasurer, cultural secretary.
And how hotly are the elections for that committee fought?
Election is fought by 38 members.
Yeah.
Mostly it is unanimous.
Yeah.
Last time in 2017, the committee formed a panel of 5 members to decide who should be president and secretary, vice president and assistant secretary and the treasurer. They had their meetings, consulted committee members, and they made a report, recommendation to the committee. That recommendation was put to the 38 members and they approved, in which Gurmeet became General Secretary. Ajmer became Vice President. First Darwara Singh Dhillon was President and then Gurmeet Singh Tadda. He became the President and the Khajanchi was Sital Singh Sangha.
Are the 38 members lifelong members?
They are lifelong members. When one dies, that person is replaced by not the family member, but the committee decide. And to my information, they come from the left movement, not from the Akalis, not from the Congress.
So is there like a waiting list for people to join?
Yeah. And one more thing about the hire of all is restricted to Kali Party, Congress Party, and BJP.
When you say restricted, you mean that they're not allowed to hire it?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because restricted can mean that only they can hire it. So it's the reverse.
Yeah.
What annual functions are held there?
Annual functions are held. One is the foundation day of the Ghadr party. They hold it on 20th April every year. From 1991, the function 3 to 4 days Ghadr Party festival in the Desh Bhagat Yadgar hall. It is regular, and even this year, Kalvi told me that they are holding 1 day only and restricted. I want to also add, in 1998, Indian Work Association from the UK provided all the funding for the Ghadr Party festival in 98, and it was about 4 to 5 lakh rupee to provide langar. In year 2000, Chanchal Singh and Jeet Kaur from Nottingham, they paid 5 lakh rupees for the expenses of langar. Finally, I would say that now due to coronavirus, the funding started drying up. Desh Bhagat Yadgar committee made an appeal, which also sent to Indian Worker Association, She and Udham Singh Welfare Trust. 6 members from IWA and Udham Singh Trust met. It was Kalveer, Pushan, Lavkesh, Shira, Bhagwant and Birdi. They took the decision to contribute 2 lakh rupees from Shri Udham Singh Welfare Trust and 2 lakh rupees from Indian Worker Association, and that money has been sent already. 4 lakh rupees, which is about £4,500.
Is that like your furlough scheme?
I don't know. Shri Udham Singh Welfare Trust has the funds. I mentioned to you yesterday, they got 84,000 in the bank. Furlough scheme is furlough for Pushan. That's all. But we received a grant of 2,500 from the government. That is not part of the furlough scheme, that is the grant. But I received the information from accountant Gurmail. He said most of the officials handling these grants are of Pakistani origin and Azad Kashmir origin. To the Indian organization, they give up to maximum 4,000. To the Pakistani organization, which is maximum 25,000. That is the history, because he knows he got some clients from the Pakistani community.
So is that something worth investigating?
No, we're not going into it.